And here we are again. Okay, now we are going to make our study session. My intent, my intent today, we show here, here. What is Notion? Here, Notion. My intention here is to read the essential syntax. Try again. So we have here our brown sample. Remember that. So we have here the essential syntax. Look the colors. At the same time, I have the habit, whenever I have time, to not just sit down with my fat butt and just read. I need to make some exercises, but my life is too runny. I need to study much stuff to get better jobs and better possibilities of time, so I can better take care of my body, yeah, my body. So I don't have much time. So I have the habit of spend some time reading and some time making exercises. I will be putting here together. Where is the app? 10 minutes could be. Okay. This is the show this. Stopwatch. But I will be putting the stopwatch. Make more than one Windows display. Let me create this. Stopwatch display. Move it here. And this display going to here. Okay, how it will work? I will click. Oh, sorry, not the stopwatch. The timer. You change the name here. Timer. I'm changing things my recorder. Okay. Okay. Now I need to test another thing. I will use Bluetooth device because I might make part reading, part making exercises. I will try to test my Bluetooth and see if I can hear myself using Bluetooth. Just a minute. Test, 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 test. Well, well, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to make some exercises and 10 minutes, and I'll be back and make the reading. I have this habit. I think it's a good habit to at least do some exercises whenever I have more time. Whenever I have a job that I can work less hours and have more time to take care of my, well, at least do exercises that takes more time to improve more my body. I'll be not necessarily be needing time here to have a timer. While that, I'll be doing this. I recommend anyone that is doing the same thing, that does not do any exercise at all, to do the same thing. At least when I stop to make 10 minutes of exercise, I challenge you to do the same. In these 10 minutes, stop what you're doing. Try to make some flexions. Try to at least try to sit and go up, or some flexions, or some jumps. There are any exercise take something that's heavy, a little bit heavy, and try to uh, I don't know the words. It's not just to search those words. Um, Try to lift some weights. Take a few books if you have. Take part of your, not the bed, because this is going to get thrown. Try to take something that is a little bit heavy, or the amount of things that have some weight, and try to lift and lower down, lift, lower down. Even if it's not too weighty to you, try to do that. Or um, and I already said flexions. Um, Squat, yes. Making squats, it's a good way. Some squats is a good way to force your body, because you see, you need to force your legs, force the muscles from the upper part of your legs, um, the muscles in the lats, gluteus, the muscles in the gluteus, and not just women, that's also good for men. And if you do well, you can take a bit of your abdomen, so a part of your abdomen, It's great. And if you feel that you have more time, do some flats. Well, being said, here we go. Just a minute, I'm trying to put the timer in all the screen. Okay, good. Now, Where is the ding dong? We change. Ooh. Now the microphone. Let me take out the Bluetooth. I think I put the Bluetooth for nothing. Try to think if there is a way. Okay. Let us do what we are supposed to do. Transform, center, transform. Give our 10 minutes. Just push us. I'm going to note down this. I'm going to note down this. Exercise. How many I did? One push-up. Push-ups. Squats. And less flexion. You can do more in less time. So remember here the words. Wait. And what is flexion? Huh? Why? Just a moment. Okay, now I know the name. Uh, it's not flexion, it's crucifix, crucifix, crucifix. Crucifix. Um, it was 1, 2, and 1. Okay. I'm just going to wait for the next. So change this back. Okay. Here's the timer. Here we go. Essential XAML syntax. XAML is mostly designed for instantiating and initializing objects, what we read before. But often, properties must be set to complex objects that cannot easily be represented as XML strings. Yes, sometimes we must do something that is different from the primal primitive C# objects. C# primitives. Building types. The building types are C# primitives. It's a boolean, byte, a short byte, char, decimal, double, float, int, unsigned int. Unsigned int, it's an integer that it doesn't have the positive or negative. It doesn't have the sign, so it's mostly like just positive. I don't remember an int, an unsigned int, long, you long, short, you short. Just remember, string, it's a complex type. It's a class. It's not a primitive type, a building type. Object is the father of all objects, of all stuff. Dynamic, well, I don't know exactly, but it's a word. I don't know. This is a type of object that can be changed during the runtime. Delegate, something we see, well, this is something from C#. Delegate, it's like you pass a code to be executed, and all this code you delegate to the delegate. So he does execute the code in another time, in another place, in another code, in the project, in the code project you are executing, you delegate that specific code to a delegate, and this delegate you pass to some other part of your code somewhere in another class, another place, another namespace, and you can execute the code that it is in some class somewhere in another class, any other place. A string is a class. A string is simply an array of chars. Array of chars. What is array? I will be explaining in a moment if you feel that's needed. So, XAML is mostly designed for instantiating and initializing objects, but often properties must be set to complex objects that cannot easily be represented as XML strings. You can only make strings in XAML. And sometimes properties defined by one class must be set on a child class. These two needs require the essential XAML syntax features of property elements and attach properties. Property elements. These ones. In .NET MAUI Platform AP user interface, MAUI, XAML properties of classes are normally set as XML attributes. These are the property elements. However, there is a there is an alternative way to set a property in XAML. You can like open a tag from the specific property and put the data between these tags, the open and close tag. These two examples that specify the color, the text color property are functionally equivalent and enable the introduction of some basic terminology. Label is an object and also a class. Object element. It is an .NET MAUI object expressed as in the XML element. This label is a class. Why he calls it object? Because an object is something that it is instantiated. When something is instantiated, it becomes an object. When it's not instantiated, it's just a class or another type. Text, vertical options, font attributes, and font size are property attributes. They are .NET MAUI properties expressed as XML attributes. In the second example, text color has become a property element. It is a .NET MAUI property expressed as XML element. Note: in a property element, the value of the property is always defined. In a property element, the value of the property is always defined as the content between the property element start and end tags. Start and end tags. The content of the property. Property element syntax can also be used on more than one property of an object. The same example here. While properties element syntax might seem unnecessary, while property element syntax might seem unnecessary, it's essential when the value of a property is too complex to be expressed as a simple string. Within the property element tags, you can instantiate another object and set its properties. For example, the grid layout has properties named row definition and column definition, which are of type row definition collection and column definition collection, respectively. These types are collections of row definition and column definition objects, and you typically use the property element syntax to set them. Row, like this. So you instantiate the class row definition inside the row definitions, which is another class and property. No, another property, which has a class in the end. Attach properties. In the previous example, you saw that the grid requires property elements for the row definitions and column definitions collections to define the rows and columns. This suggests that there must be a technique for indicating the row and column where each child of the grid resides. Within the tag of each child of the grid, you specify the row and column of the child using the grid row and grid column attributes. Attributes which have default values of 0. You can also indicate if a child spans more than one row or column with the grid row span and grid column span attributes which have default values of 1. This stuff about grid, when you work with Xamarin or anything else, you use this far too much. Most of things use grids or other types of layouts to make things in the places you want. The following example demonstrates placing children within a grid. So you create a grid, you create the rows and columns, and you go to the controls. The name of these classes are controls because they do something. This is layout. These are controls, classes that have an use. They do something. Label. Look here. Column 1, row 1, row 1, column 1, row span, column. What was said? The XML results in the following layout: outsized cell, leftover space, span 2 rows or more if you want, fixed 100 by 100, span 2 columns. This is our representation of this code. Oh, time's up. Time for exercise. Before I begin, just a minute here. Okay, we will begin now. I'm back. Okay, let's go. Okay, we saw about XAML, how that's why although it seems a bit um, too much verbose here, too much things written. It's the way it is now. It's better this way. You know, in a markup language, you can understand better things like everything, label, box, all those labels and box fields are inside the grid. You can see that they are inside the grid. Here, say those definitions from this grid are these definitions, and the label are above box view, and box view are above the other, and all the other after other, except in the case when you change the grid row and column, which changes where everything is. Let us see. We have 3 rows and 3 columns. Well, 3 columns. We have 3 columns here and 3 rows. 1, 2, 3. 3 rows. Although we saw here that one row and column is 100 by 100, which it is this one. The second row and the second column are adjust itself. So the second column and the second row leftover space, they adjust with what's left. And the auto, I don't know what's auto do. The first auto size itself. Okay. Where is the timer? Timer here. Um, sorry. I mean, I'm distracted. Uh, the grid row, the grid column, the grid row span, the grid column span. All these attributes appear to be properties of the grid class. But this class doesn't define anything named row, column, row span, and column span. Instead, the grid class defines 4 bindable properties named row property, column property, row span property, and column span property that are special types of window. Well, um, since I'm going to finish the my recording here. See you guys later. Bye bye.